Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Brad Browning, aka Breakup Brad. And in this video, I want to tell you 4 things that pretty much always make your ex want you back. Now, these are not always obvious at first, but in my 13 plus years of experience as a breakup coach, I've seen them work like magic over and over again for my clients. So if you are hoping to get a second chance with your ex, you're going to want to stick around and learn about all 4 of these ways that you can make your ex change their mind and come back to you. Now we'll start with the most obvious and easiest one first, and then move on to some others that you probably haven't thought about a bit later in the video. So let's start with number 1, the number 1 thing that will make your ex want you back, and that is distance. So it really should come as no surprise to you that being apart from your ex, whether it's just for a few hours or for a few months, is going to make them feel your absence and the sense of loss that comes with that. Basically, they're going to start missing you. Now, depending on how long you and your ex were together, how serious your relationship was, and what actually caused the breakup, your ex could begin to miss you within a few hours after your breakup. And those feelings are going to continue to intensify for your ex the longer you're gone from their life, at least for the first month or two. Based on both research studies and on my own experience helping tens of thousands of people in situations like yours, those feelings of missing you are going to peak for your ex around 30 days after your last contact with them. Sometimes it takes less than a month, sometimes it takes a lot longer. But really, the longer you disappear from your ex's life after breaking up, the more desperate they're going to be to crush those feelings and have you back. Really, the key takeaway here is that your absence, the time and distance you create from your ex, and the feeling of loss that creates will make your ex desperately want to break down and ask you to come back to them. Now, as you might have already guessed, this is why the no contact strategy is so important and so effective in most breakup situations. It allows you to create the maximum amount of distance between you and your ex, which forces them to feel your absence as much as possible. I mean, think of the breakup from your ex's perspective. It's a lot like drug withdrawal for an addict. By cutting your ex out of your life entirely, rather than continuing to talk to them or see them regularly after breaking up, you're making the post-breakup emotions as painful and real as possible for your ex. It's a lot harder to let go of something or somebody that you love if they're suddenly snatched away from you out of the blue. And no contact is designed specifically to give your ex, a cold turkey breakup experience. And oftentimes, this by itself can be enough to make your ex beg to have you back. Now, if you're not sure whether this absence is going to be enough to actually make your ex take you back, or if you really just want to know what your odds overall are of ever getting back together, well, the easiest way to find out is just to spend 3 or 4 minutes and complete my free quiz at breakupbrad.com/quiz. Just by answering a few questions, you'll be given a full results report breaking down your chances and explaining what your ex is likely thinking and feeling about you right now. Again, it's completely free and it takes just a couple of minutes, so try it out after the video at breakupbrad.com/quiz. And now let's move on to the second thing that will make your ex come back, and that is forgetting their logical reasons for breaking up. So when your ex forgets about many of the negative aspects of your relationship, as well as whatever reasons they use to justify the decision to break up, they're obviously going to be far more likely to consider getting back together. Now this is going to happen on its own with time, as you might have heard me say before in some of my past videos. And studies have shown that the human psychology is hardwired to let go of negative memories and emotions more quickly than positive ones. It's just a natural coping mechanism that allows us to get back to life after a traumatic life event. And in the case of your breakup, this is going to be the case for your ex as well. As time passes since the breakup, they're going to slowly start to forget about some of the negative aspects of you and your time together. Now, of course, your ex isn't suddenly going to forget that you cheated on them with their best friend, but for the less serious and damaging stuff, for instance, maybe your ex felt you didn't show enough affection or you were always hesitant to commit to future plans, things like that. In those cases, your ex will naturally think about those things less and less frequently, and they'll slowly start to care less and less about them as well. And similarly, most people will justify ending a relationship by coming up with logical reasons that you should no longer be together or that they'll be better off on their own. But again, over time, they're going to start to question those reasons in their own head. And as time passes, the bad parts seem less important, the negative memories fade, and they're no longer going to be confident that those reasons really did justify breaking up. Now, I know you might be skeptical about this, but I promise you that based on both scientific research and my 13 plus years of experience as a breakup coach, this has shown me that this does happen to almost everyone following a breakup. Negative memories and feelings really do fade away quite quickly over time, and your ex will almost certainly begin to question their practical and logical reasons for wanting to break up. Now, the key that this happens for your ex, though, is to avoid reminding them about the negative aspects of you and your past relationship. So if you bring up any old drama with your ex after breaking up, or if you repeat the same mistakes and behaviors that led to the breakup, you're going to be reminding your ex of the negative memories and reinforcing their belief that they were valid reasons to end the relationship. And again, no contact helps here because it prevents you from reminding your ex of the negatives, and it helps them have the space to forgive and forget. All right, let's move on to number 3, the number 3 thing that will make your ex want you back, and that is sexual tension and desire. Chances are good that your ex is still physically attracted to you, even though you're no longer officially in a relationship. Unless you've really let your appearance slide since you first started dating your ex, lack of physical and sexual attraction is unlikely to be one of the root causes of your breakup. So assuming your sex life was healthy when you were still a couple, they're going to be missing that intimate connection. So by looking your best whenever you see your ex in person, and by using some, just basic flirting skills and playful touching with them, you can help to stimulate those feelings of attraction and sexual desire in your ex. Don't be afraid to touch them without, being creepy or overly forceful about it. Don't be afraid to drop a sexual innuendo or an inside reference to a steamy time you shared in the past. Just remind them, subtly and flirtatiously, what they're missing out on now that you're broken up. Sexual attention usually isn't enough by itself to make your ex want to get back together, but it can definitely help. The more they want you and feel sexually attracted to you, the more they'll be willing to forget or ignore those reasons they wanted to break up just in order to satisfy those cravings. Now, generally speaking, you don't want to give them what they're after. Sleeping with your ex is only appropriate in certain situations, which I've covered in some of my past videos already. But you do want to make them wish they could have you back in their bed, as that's going to give them one more reason to consider giving your relationship a second chance. Now, like I said, I did make a whole video on whether or not sleeping with your ex will help you get them back. So please click the pop-up here or the link in the description below to watch that video next, because it's important that you know how sex with your ex can sometimes help you get them back, and other times it can actually hurt your chances. And now, number 4, changing your ex's feelings about a long-term future together. So if your ex has decided they wanted to break up, or even if it was mutual, clearly they don't see you in their long-term plans. For whatever reason, either because of a loss of attraction generally, or for specific concrete reasons, they just don't see you as the right person for them in the long run. By changing that perception, by showing your ex that the concerns they had about your potential future together aren't as significant or insurmountable as they had previously thought, they're going to be a lot more willing to consider a future with you by their side. Now, this can mean, apologizing for things you did to hurt them in the past, and making it clear that you understand how your actions were unacceptable and that you've learned your lesson. Your ex will need to understand that things could be different in the future if you were to get back together, and that whatever reasons they had for the breakup, whatever problems they focused on that led to them deciding you're not the right person for them in the long term, aren't nearly as bad as they'd previously thought. So if you had, issues with being overly jealous during your time together, or if you were too clingy or needy and pushed them away with that type of insecure and unattractive behavior, then you will absolutely need to apply no contact and show to your ex that you're not like that anymore, and that things can and will be different if they give your relationship another try. At the end of the day, if your ex is sufficiently attracted to you, if they think of you as a great catch that they won't be able to easily replace with somebody new, then they're going to be willing to overlook, any minor issues that led them to break up in the first place. No matter how logical and sensible your ex's reasons might be, really, emotions trump all. So make your ex fall back in love with you, become desperate to have you in their life, and they're going to ignore those same rational reasons that they had for the breakup. Now, the free tutorial video on my website, breakupbrad.com, explains some of the simplest and most effective psychological techniques that you can use to quickly build attraction and change your ex's mind about breaking up. So please take 10 minutes to give it a quick watch right now. I promise you will come away with important tips that you can use immediately to ensure that you get a second chance with your ex before it's too late. Again, that full video is free, and actually there's 2 versions, one for men and one for women, and you can watch it right now at breakupbrad.com. And that does it for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching and for your likes and subscribes. Leave your questions in the comments below, and I will read and reply to as many as I can. Good luck out there, and I will see you guys again soon.